Hey folks, it's Ben. We're here with our 2002 Pontiac Grand Prix with our 3.8 liter 3800 Series 2V6. Now this car has been recalled, or been requested to be recalled by GM, I don't know, for 10 years now, and we still get cards in the mail. The front valve cover gasket leaks, and it causes oil to come down upon the exhaust manifold and then creates a hazard for fire. And I'm sure there's been a couple examples of that as well. However, so their recall is to obviously pull the valve cover, change the gaskets. They also want to steal the little heat caps from the spark plug wires, which I kind of like because it keeps that system cool. And number three, I don't want a monkey dinking with my car. So what we're going to do today, or what I'm going to do today, and you can watch, is we're going to change both valve cover gaskets on this car so that they stop leaking. It's really noticeable now that it's wintertime, so the car does a little bit more idling to warm up or things like that, and smells like it wants to catch on fire. So we're going to just go ahead and address that issue by swapping out these valve cover gaskets. So taking a quick peek at the front valve cover here, if we just start off right here, we go around, there's no big issues, and I think we'll be fine around the wiring harness there. We have the motor pulling bracket, which I think we can probably clear by going up, but we're going to hit this guy. This is the big one that we're going to have to move. We might take the spark plug wires loose, number them one through 6 down and just pull them out. But we've got this big bracket here. So it's got 2 bolts. I'm not sure the size yet. Probably 15. There's one bolt there and one on the other side that go into the head. Then we have it into the little assembly here, the actual support, and then down below it actually wraps around. There's another single bolt down there just above number 1 cylinder, and it's got those 2 bolts there onto the aluminum bracket. That's our biggest battle, I think, with this front one. I'll keep it set as a nice wide shot, and in software maybe I can zoom in when I have to here, but let's go ahead and attack the engine mount since we're not going anywhere today. We are in 15 land, and that is off, and this is 15 as well. Let's just go ahead and loosen this guy up. This would have been last off 9 years ago when I did the lower intake manifold gaskets. You got to take all of this stuff off to get those out. Should probably just switch these. Off camera, I'll probably be using this tray to keep all my bolts running away on me. And now, technically I could probably leave this loose, but we're just going to take the other one off too. Now, these are all, except for this one, which I must have put in, nuts are to the left and bolt heads are to the right, so I'm guessing I put that one in. If there's a backwards, I put it in backwards. There's a free piece right there. So next up, we've got these guys. And I'm thinking we'll break them free and then we'll take them off. Oops, not very tight. Nice. Nothing says safety like these bolts. Maybe this lower one will be my friend. I gotta get an extension for that one. Nice little tug here. Yes, excellent. I was worried about it being in the hot exhaust land that maybe we're a little seized or something, but we're okay. And I knew that was going to happen where you drop it. Let me get my little magnet. There it is. It's a little nut, not a bolt. So it's sitting on a stud. Maybe an exhaust stud. Don't know. Anyway, so these are ready to come out. No. Okay. I've definitely been here. There's still anti-seize on these bolts, so being from New England and the Rust Belt, even non-critical bolts, you just go ahead and anti-seize your way to awesome. You won't get screwed again. Not a stud nor a free. So there's our bracket. We might clean that before we put it back on, just for the fun. So next we have the top. Got 13. there any way to get to it straight? Looks like we need a stubby guy. We might need to undo our little guy here. If we move this over, I can get in from the top, probably on both sides. And that's definitely a 10. Yep, that mass airflow, or yeah, the manifold air pressure sensor port is just in the way. So we'll do it the old-fashioned way and we'll wrench it out. Oh my, that one looks like she's got a little bit of aluminum corrosion on it. So that's interesting. We'll have to clean that up a little bit. Next one is over here, a little deeper. Hooey, this one's going to be a tough one to start in there again. It's kind of, access is kind of a pain. I mean, getting it out's one way, but... So we'll take this out. Yeah, it's got a tool on top too. We might use that going in. Once again, it's either we were sealing it because it's a coolant passage or it's corrosion. I'm betting corrosion, but we'll find out soon enough. Hopefully we're fairly free. I might need to loosen this guy up and get it out of the way just so it's not gonna be in the way. More things you don't have to maneuver around, the better, I imagine. Am I still on shot with that one? Barely. Why are you so in there? I guess that's as far as I need to take it. So now let's undo, those look like 10s maybe, or smaller, 7s. Yeah, looks like they're 7s. Get the valve cover gaskets out. That's weird, we went from metric to 3/8. That is Lucy. It's 2 on top and I believe 4 on the bottom. Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll undo these and then we'll undo the spark plug so they can just hang out. Now technically these all have cylinder numbers, but for disassembly purposes, you gotta write better than that. There we go. We're just gonna go down the line and list where they go. To eliminate confusion, we'll put a 1 up here. So we know that's where we put the 1. I guess that's retained, so I heard the thunk though. Nice. Oops. Looks like we got a little bit of moisture up top, condensed, but no big deal. It's plastic. That's fun. And this is my valve cover gasket, which sits in a groove, probably. Yeah, that looks flat, so it sits in the valve cover gasket itself. And then we got to clean that out. So here's this dangly guy. This is what's causing us the issues. Moisture there too. This car unfortunately goes short distances now, so it doesn't really get that blow everything out type of mileage anymore. Alrighty, nothing looks bad here. This engine's running fine, knock on wood, so I'm not gonna worry about anything in the valve train. So what we're looking at here is on top you can see it's flat. You can see the outline of where the gasket was, but that's it. It's really just straight metal. But down here, you can see there's a ridge on both sides of where the oil has sat and cooked and baked. And so we need to, and this is a wood chisel, so this is the extreme caution tool. Use with extreme caution. You do not want to scratch anything down here, but it's also the best at getting, see that's a little careful there, but it's really aggressive. And you can kind of scrape this down for the bad stuff. And then we got to go all the way around up to the corner again. And then we'll come back through and wipe it down a couple times and we'll get that stuff right out of there. So that's what this will be doing. Alrighty, now I'm here with the actual valve cover itself. And yeah, these are, now there are little grommets here. So if you get the valve kit, get the grommet too. They look like they're little retainers. I try to keep these in the same hole, but actually I don't think it actually matters. Let's just pop these out. And these could be our primary leak, I don't know. They're all super oily for as deep as they are. But you get the grommet kit and the valve cover kit. Now this should come right off. And yeah, it's got water in it too. We're dealing with, yeah, mostly condensate water here because the car doesn't drive enough to burn that off. Unfortunately, / fortunately, it's nice to not have to drive to Kingdom Come and back every day. So there's the 6 that are out. And there's the groove that it sits in. I'm going to get some, just a light oil, like a WD-40, I guess. While I'm here, you can see the white foam, that liquid is actually water. That's kind of emulsified in the valve cover. You know, a little bit of oil spray, condensated water, or condensed water. Condensated water. Condensed water creates this kind of emulsion that hangs out there. It's not like, oh gosh, there's a massive coolant leak. It's not the case. It's just a matter of these are the cooler parts where water can accumulate and it'll just condense on the cooler parts here. So, and then it'll get big enough that it'll fall in. And like you saw in the head there, or I showed you or didn't show you, a little bit of blob of that sitting in the pools of oil as well. Not a lot, and given that this is the first time the valve covers on this car have ever been off, yeah, I'm not worried about it one bit. Neat that these are plastic. I thought they might have been aluminum, but you know, the lower intake manifold's also plastic, so I guess that's what you get. It really doesn't need to be metal, I guess. It's just holding the oil in on the valve train. But I'm sure aftermarket ones are metal. So I'm just going to go through now and clean the bottom part off, and then I'll clean the top for fun because it's just going to get dirty again. I live on the gravel. But make sure my groove is nice and clean. Definitely the bottom, they put a ridge there to catch and defer oil away from that gasket because it is a problem. But I'll go through and finish this up. Now to the cool part numbers. Here we have Felpro gaskets, which I guess is the way to go. This is a VS 580R for my Series 2, made in Mexico, but there's 2 valve cover gaskets here, just like the ones we pulled out. And then the Felpro ES72833, which is a grommet set, and that's the part that the little, we're gonna take apart next and clean up are these little guys here. I just got new ones because why not? They're not that expensive, and while you're here, why have a grommet be the reason why you're leaking and not anything else. So I'll pop the screws out, we'll put some new ones in, we'll put the valve cover gasket on the valve cover, and put it back together again. So let's get to that. I think there's what, 6? Should be 12 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, there's 7. They give you an extra, unless I run into one out back. Let's go ahead and clean these guys up. So that's notable. So let me stop the video and talk about that. There is a little indentation here on the gasket, and I didn't notice it on the one I took off, which is actually laying right here, and it's there. There's a little indent that tells you what the orientation should be. So I initially laid it down this way, but the tab's on the wrong hole. It actually needs to be here, and then you know that that's the way it's supposed to go. So that's cool. Now this looks like it's a friction fit in. So that's the valve cover, and then these little grommet guys. I'm sure they're gonna just kind of wiggle their way in there, and that'll retain the bolts as well. Now clearly GM thought that these rubber grommets were for something, because technically all the bolts are all, just like most valve covers, are on the inside or the outside of the gasket. But yeah, they're rubbery and squishy. I guess they're limiting torque to actually squeeze this thing down. But I think we're clean enough now that we can go ahead and stick it back on and thread everything back together again. And then not very tight, actually, is what we're going to do. So we'll find the ratchet we were using, it's this one. Switch gears to install mode and just lightly tighten them all. So those 2 bracket bolts are in. So now we've got our engine bracket back on. So we'll put this guy back in. I was gonna clean it, but probably not. It's got its 1 stud mount down here, which probably is the first thing to go in. And then our 2 larger bolts there. And we'll snug them all down too next. Right, so next up for me is we have our little bracket here that this guy clicks into magically. Just like so. Doesn't need to be tight just there, and that holds that guy on. That's vacuum something or other. Could be my EGR port solenoid that's not working, who knows. So we got our wires kind of run there,
And so then if I take my bracket, there'll be lots of space? Lots of space, yep. So we'll stick that guy in there. That's a little snug. It's all rubber bushing land here. So we're all friends. I think we did this one. Double check it. It's good. That's good. So there, that's the valve cover gasket on that one, and that's the gist of it. So we'll leave it at this. So I'll have to title it as just the front. Make sure we don't arc anything out or rub anything bad on that. That's fine. That'll be fine. Ooh, that's not fine though. I mean, against the fans is not cool. I'll have to figure out the routing on that. But anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, like, why didn't you do the back one, fool? That's what I came here for. Hey, leave that. If there's enough demand for the 322 people who watch this video, I'll do the back one right now. But otherwise, I'm going to leave it till it's... This was the bad one. This is the... On the warranty, this is the only one they do. They don't do the back. They just do the valve cover gasket on the front. Take off the sleeves off the exhaust. I got to reroute my lightning hoses. But otherwise, I think we're good. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And subscribe to my channel, Turbo231, for more apparently lazy videos where we're just doing basic stuff. But that's the front valve cover gasket. Looks really weird compared to the... And we'll see you next time. I'm not promising a part 2. I may never get to that. We'll see. You know, when your cars get this, she's only got 211,000 kilometers on it. So we're at about, what, 130, 120, 120,000 miles. It's got lots of life left in it, but always looking for the next one. Okay, see you next time.